I called him so much stuff.
All right, good, because we're live.
Oh no.
Well, welcome, ladies and jelly spoons, to another episode of Duncan and Bo Come Correct. This time around, it is Duncan and Bo slash fiction,
Oh yeah.
which we have been doing since I don't know mid '80s.
It's that gif of that old woman going, it's been 84 years. That's it's literally us now. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I promised I would explain. So, Boomer and Ellen are here. Welcome. Welcome, people. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome, my children. All are welcome. Um,
Welcome to Jurassic Park. You know.
Spared no expense.
Yeah.
So I promised Duncan I would explain why I don't have a beard. So those of you who tuned in for Sinister Sundays, aka Morbid Mondays, have heard this story. So I'm going to tell the abbreviated version for Duncan's benefit.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you know how you get those videos that like where like parents go up to like their small kids, but the parents shaved off the beard and the kid just cries because it doesn't recognize it's that. That's kind of how I feel right now. I don't like it.
I didn't mean to make you sad.
You made me really uncomfortable right now. So
Okay, so here's what happened. First of all, another caveat, because the past couple of times we've done a stream, like about every 15 minutes, it would pause and I would have to kind of restart it. I don't think that's gonna. I think I've got that problem solved. If
he's
it,
worked out.
I think so. If it, I had to sacrifice my beard for it.
Right. Does that make sense now?
But if that does happen, then just refresh and we'll be right back, and I'll switch over to the other piece of software. So
a monkey beard situation, is that like monkey paw but monkey beard?
yeah,
No.
I made a wish and it just like the mustache disappeared, and then all right, so here's what happened. And like I said, some of you have already heard this story, but if you haven't, so this past weekend I was playing Santa Claus.
You, by the way, I for a second thought that was the real Santa. I was recording with the Hail Ming guys last night, and I was saying that your photograph, for a second, I thought I was looking at the real Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mrs. Claus is obviously your beautiful girlfriend. And the first thing I said to the guys there is, Bo Ransdell is punching so far above his weight. It is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no.
We were just assuming. Yeah, I need to speak to her to just make sure that you have told her, one, you podcast, right? 2, you're into video games. 3, you're into horror movies, and 4, you're not a millionaire. Like, I just need to make sure she's aware of all these things before this can go any further, Bo.
She is aware of all these things. Let me tell you.
All
Let
right.
me tell you something about my lovely lady friend Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
So for my birthday in October, she got me a blanket that has on the cover of the blanket, it is a bunch of like horror movie icons, including like
Yep.
Pinhead and Frankenstein and the Wolfman and stuff like that. And written on the blanket, it says Bo's horror movie watching blanket. So she is, not only is she aware, she encourages it.
Marry her.
I'm not sure we're there yet, but
I don't care. She got you a blanket. It's Bo's horror blanket, right? You marry that woman now. You wear that blanket down the aisle like James Brown about to kick in it.
I'll tell you what. If it comes to that, we'll make sure you're there, and then I'll kneel
I'll
down and you throw. Yeah, you come
100%.
put it. Great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm there. I've got your back that way, Bo. Trust me, that will be my soldier. Like, you will have to create a role in the wedding entourage for that, but I will facilitate that role.
Great. That's really all I want. Now that this has been said, it's all I want out of life. All right. So, but yeah,
Brandy, listen to this crazy idea. I think we should get married. Oh, it's like, no, that's not what you think. It's because Duncan's gonna. Like, I'm sure that conversation is going to go real well.
All I have to say is, let's get married. It's not what you think.
Yes.
And then she's just going to assume, like, I need to dodge taxes or I'm not really an American citizen.
Yeah, she can't testify at a murder trial because she's your spouse. Yeah, I know how this conversation goes, Bo.
Yeah. So,
you were Santa. You were Santa.
I was Santa, yes. So, her daughter does makeup work, like does theatrical makeup. And was spending a lot of time like helping Brandy. Like she did basically the Dick Smith Max von Sydow thing with Brandy and used a little liquid latex to kind of give her wrinkles and whatnot. And then which, by the way, she didn't seem to think was necessary for me, which was a little bit of a slap in the face. I was like, come on, Savannah. I mean, what am I like? I'm look at these boyish good looks and look at this moneymaker. And so anyway, but as we were fitting the beard, my current beard, the one I had, just wouldn't, it would never sit right. And so she was like, look, this is kind of decision time. If you want this to look reasonably okay, you're going to need to shave. And so
Christmas is cancelled is what I would have said, Bo. The kids will go hungry this year.
Well, it had been a long time since I'd shaved. And so I was like, you know what? It's for the kids. And that's, you know me, Duncan. Everything I do is for the kids.
Yeah. That's what they say.
So I ended up like going into her bathroom with a pair of scissors and one of her razors. No shaving cream, by the way.
Oh man, you went raw?
I raw dogged it. And ended up like getting all of it shaved except for like my chin, which I shaved like snipped down. And then after we got done, I shaved it up all proper like. And I'm gonna keep it until she's like, I'm sick of seeing your face and I need you to grow that hair back.
Yep.
But
or till you commit a crime and you need to go into the skies. Well.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, I've said this already, but if you ever get the opportunity to play Santa Claus, do. It is a tremendous amount of fun, and there is nothing better than like a 5-year-old kid just knowing for sure you're Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And I got so much dirt on Skittles, this elf on a shelf. I know all the heinous shit that Skittles got up to, where he's been on the bed near the lamp, and but it, like there was a friend of Brandy's, this little girl, like Brandy knew her parents, and so after we got done, because like we like did a Christmas tree lighting and stuff like that, and then we fucked off, and but we were taking pictures with some of the kids and that kind of thing, and the parents texted Brandy after the fact and were like, our little girl, our daughter, will not shut up about how she met the real Santa Claus and how like he knew her grandmother, because I told her that. I was like, oh yeah, your grandmother told me what you want for Christmas. I know all about that shit. And I didn't say it like that because that's not how Santa talks, but I was the Santa from the streets, Duncan.
What?
Yeah, I was like, ho ho how? And yeah, so it was a tremendous amount of fun. It's the most heartwarming thing in the world to see kids just like run up and hug you for no reason other than the craven need for gifts. So yeah, it was wonderful. But that's why I have shaved. And Duncan was saying offline, it was the source of all the power.
Yeah.
So
I'm still like knowing how this intro's going thus far. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. So
because we've not I think formally introduced me yet. Did we?
No, I don't think we did. As always,
the source of your power. This is what I said.
Well, it helps focus. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's all my chi channels through the chin hair.
Chin
no.
Chi.
Shang Chin. Shang Chin and the 10 hairs. So I am Bo, one of your hosts. I didn't even introduce myself really. I just launched into the story.
Yeah.
And with me as ever is the lovely and talented and with more chin hair than I have currently.
I don't have much in the way of anything. I can't grow a beard, and we found that out many times. And I get to that point where my wife's just like, "Do something, please. You look homeless." And it does. Yeah. I get to that point where I just look homeless. So
I get that as well. I've got so much Irish in me that I can do this area. But the cheeks are nothing. Like if I try to let that grow, it comes in so like thin and patchy that people just assume I've got something.
Yeah.
So
you got scabies.
Yeah. All right. Just a quick follow up with chat. Andrew referred to the blanket as Bo's security blanket, like security blanket. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but it's fine. And then Boomer says that he just realized we have 2 more of these episodes to go after this one. And he says it's a treat to hear us suffer, but also he feels bad for us. But here's the thing. The next episode we're doing the last 2. We're gonna rip the Band-Aid on this.
One mind. We've been podcasting too long. We're like the Band-Aid is coming off. We are putting this. I am not carrying Slasher season 3 into 2022. It ain't fucking happening. So come hell or high water, we are finishing this sumbitch and getting out. And if it means we have to suffer through almost 2 hours Slasher season 3, then so fucking be it.
Yeah, and this, we'll get to it, but this episode is the biggest heap of nothing that we have covered thus far.
Yeah, this is all fluff. Like nothing really happens in this episode at all.
Yeah, it was like somebody said, like, we have to have how many episodes? Oh, I've got 7. Hang on. Let me create a mini Saw.
Yeah.
With
this is such a Saw, yeah. It really is. It's just my problem with the show is it tried to get we couldn't have been any more wrong, by the way, about the whole origin of Dan's racist tendencies. It was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. So much so that I actually audibly said when it happened on the screen, "Fuck off."
when that happened, and I thought our version of it was so much better and more
cinematic. But the thing is, when we were talking about it, it's like, this is the cliched thing to do. It's so obvious that it's obviously what our man's going to do, but he won't play by the rules, Bo. He marches to the beat of his own drum.
It was so stupid. It was so stupid.
Not the worst. Not the most stupidest thing in this episode.
No. But right. It just, every time you think that Slasher can't get any dumber, then
shifts into a new gear.
It finds a new stupid gear, like whatever's below reverse. Some kind of super reverse. But what we like to do here, Duncan, on the show, I know you haven't watched in the past.
What's it we're doing again?
Duncan, I'm correct.
What year is it?
I could go on a Kyle MacLachlan tangent right now about how that guy has held up. Also, Alan pointed out, you said you have a problem with the show. That's probably underselling it just a touch.
Yeah. At the moment now, its existence is the problem. So
So okay, but what we like to do on the show is we like to take a movie, good and bad, that we've watched since last we spoke. And so, Duncan, after giving you short shrift in the upfront, because I was obsessed with telling my beard story.
I liked the beard story. It was good.
It was pretty good. Thank you.
And it answered the question that I wanted answered. So I feel like, if anything, having got through the experience of watching this TV show, I feel satisfied that I got a question answered, unlike Slasher, which answers nothing.
Yeah. And Boomer also saying that he's very giddy for us to see the payoffs, if you can call anything a payoff, which, like, he's not the first person to say, like, you guys have no idea. Like,
yeah, but I think the thing is, like, I'm expecting the worst. Like I'm genuinely expecting the dumbest fucking thing that's ever been written. And I've already seen this year. I've already seen the worst ending to something ever, and that is the new Saw movie, Spiral, which has the worst ending I've seen in quite some time. Just because it's so blatantly stupid. So
I saw that Kate was watching that. Our mutual friend Kate and co-host of Heart of Horror on the Dark Parade. But yeah. And
she fell asleep watching it and apparently woke up just as the killer was being revealed. She fell asleep 20 minutes into it, woke up just as the killer was being revealed. And it turns out who she thought was the killer 20 minutes in turned out to be, wait for it, the killer. That's right.
All right. So it's a good mystery. But anyway, so what have you been watching? Start with the good, start with the bad. I don't care. I'm just along for the ride, Duncan. I'm just happy to be here is all.
I'll give you the good, and then I'm going to give you this movie is terrible, but by God, I love it. So let's start with the good. Last night I got to make a triumphant return to a couple of young upstarts that are on a spaceship somewhere circling the Earth. I made a return to the Hail Ming Power Hour. The reason I came back was because they offered me the only thing that could make me drop everything and squeeze another podcast recording into what is the busiest fucking month I've ever done of podcasting. And that was the tantalizing taste of Tenebrae.
Oh, sure. What a terrific movie. What a terrific score. One of my favorite scores ever in a movie.
Just like across the board. It's my favorite Argento. I know some people out there will be a bit upset about that, but it's my favorite Argento. It's not his best movie. It's not the best Argento, but it is my favorite Argento. It's the one where I think everything works. It's also the only Giallo. I was trying to think about this. I think it's the only Giallo that has a proper double fake in it, where, you know, it's a killer who is killing and then someone uses that as an opportunistic way of also killing under the guise of the original killer. So it works so many different ways that way. It's got maybe one of the best tracking shots in horror history. It's got some of my favorite kills.
Yeah, that tracking shot is so damn good.
So like across the board, it's just an amazing movie.
Dun,
but I also
dun,
think
dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's the best.
I think it's like Argento, like at his cleverest as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not the like the purist or the completist you are with Argento films, but it's my favorite that I've ever seen. Like Suspiria is great and all, but Tenebrae is amazing.
Yeah, the movie is full of subtext about how he was perceived by the media as being a guy who glorified violence against women. So the author in the movie is being questioned by people about his books, which promote violence towards women. But the genius element of it is that whilst Argento was dealing with that and dealing with it in a very clever way where he's kind of poking fun at it, ultimately that character at the end is a murderer. Yeah, so that's the point. Right. He can't help him. He can't help himself. Like Argento cannot help himself. Even when he's making a point, he's still like, but see? And I'm like, yes, I see. And yeah, it's got the best ending ever. Daria Nicolodi screaming as the credits play and just continuing to howl as credits move up before the music comes back in. Mwah.
Yeah. It's almost that like Black Christmas phone ringing thing. You know?
Oh, you've now seen Black Christmas, haven't you?
I've seen 2 of the 3 Black Christmases.
But we'll speak about it off here.
Yeah. There's whole shows coming about all this, but yeah, no, I mean, the original Black Christmas is great. I don't think there's.
So you did enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I had a great time.
Excellent. I was concerned because, I think it's fucking excellent, right? But the issue that I had was like one time plus hype plus you can be sometimes inconsistent with slasher movies, that there was a chance that maybe it failed for you. And if it failed for you, then my concern was you were going to do a complete series of movies that you didn't like. So I'm glad that we glad that we stepped back. So yeah, that was my good film. I don't know if you want to swing at your good film or if you just want
I'll
to...
also mention some Argento talk in the chat.
Oh, bring in
Derek joining us to say that Tenebrae is great, but Phenomena is probably his favorite because of the monkey with a straight razor.
Yeah, a monkey owned by Scottish-speaking Donald Pleasance is kind of amazing. But yeah, like Phenomena is just inconsistent though.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Problem. You're like where Tenebrae is slick right all the way through. Phenomena is just a little bit inconsistent. Still buying the 4K UHD version that Arrow's putting out, and that will be the 4th version of Phenomena I own because I have no life.
I mean, look, you got to spend your money on something. What are you going to do? Pay
of course,
for your kids to go to college? That's stupid.
Well, I love the fact that you put your American system on me. But like, this is Scotland. We don't pay for our kids to go to college. To go to college.
Nobody wants to hear your socialist ranting.
Pay for education.
Boomer also say that Deep Red is his favorite, but also acknowledges that Tenebrae is brilliant.
Deep Red is the best giallo movie ever made. Like, I would never argue that point. I see Tenebrae as like a kind of cross between a giallo and a slasher. But yeah, Deep Red's unimpeachable as the best giallo ever made. It's the one where Argento got all the stuff he did in Crystal Plumage and he nailed it and made it a horror movie. It's technically Argento's first horror movie because all the other ones you could argue are just murder mysteries. So, and I wouldn't disagree with that.
Also, Andrew Valdez saying there's more than one Black Christmas. Oh, yes, there is 74.
Yep.
Then there's 2006, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 2006.
And then 2019.
Which is awful. And
that's the one I haven't seen yet. So, but by all means, everyone check out the conversation I had with one Richard Glenn Schmidt about Black Christmas 2006, which
I imagine that'll be fun as balls because that's the man I would want to do that episode with. So.
It was super fun. We had a great time talking about that movie. That movie.
We just need to try and work out why Yellow Bastard from Sin City makes an appearance in that movie.
All right, let me say this. Just not about Yellow Bastard, although you're right. That movie is fucking crazy.
Oh, it's 100% bonkers. It's like, to me, the only thing I will give it credit for is it's a 2000s remake of a movie where it just goes, the name is, I like the name, but let's not remake the movie. Let's just make it the way, let's just like do something. Kind of reminds me in a lot of respects with the although it works better with the House of Wax remake.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's that level of like gory and crazy and yeah. I was shocked. There is, by the way, if you have never had the opportunity, okay, do you remember in Black Christmas 06, there is Dawn from Buffy, Michelle Trachtenberg, is murdered by an ice skate. Have you seen the alternate death?
No.
Dude, this is so good. This is the reason I asked you is because it showed, like, this was, if you went to the theaters in the UK to see the movie, this was the death.
Yeah, so, I hard passed it when it was in the cinema. I caught it when it came out on DVD, I think.
Yeah, I'm genuinely shocked that Glenn Morgan, the guy who directed that, also directed the remake of Willard, which I quite liked.
Yeah, Glenn Morgan, he's the guy behind Final Destination, worked on the X-Files, all those X-Files things we love. That's Glenn Morgan.
Yeah, well, but he never directed again. He only directed those two movies.
Yeah.
And that was it, which is a real shame. But anyway, so the death in the UK version and exists on the DVD as an alternate scene or a deleted scene is the killer, I think it's Agnes in this situation, bangs her head, like wraps the bag around her head, bangs her head against the wall. She falls to the ground. The killer pops out her eyes with her thumbs, and then carts Michelle Trachtenberg off down the hallway with her fingers inserted in the eye sockets like a bowling
ball. Nice.
With Michelle Trachtenberg kicking and screaming still. It was raw, man. I was like, I can't believe, they should not have cut this out because it is one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen, even though it's not nearly as bloody as the ice skate.
Yeah.
But it really affected me. Anyway, it's great.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go all racist and say, did you see how she died in the English version? Yes, she choked on a cup of tea, Duncan.
Oh, she had a biscuit, Duncan. All right, enough of that. Let me talk about a good movie that I saw. Duncan, this is not thematically appropriate, but I am a fan of both the comedian Dana Gould as well as Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes.
Okay, and who I think we both really like as a director.
Oh yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait's a great director. Yeah.
So the two of them did a tour together not too long ago, and I actually got to see one of the dates. I saw both of them perform. And anyway, Bobcat Goldthwait directed a documentary about that tour called Joyride. And it's excerpts of the show as well as just them talking in a car about their career. And the whole kind of impetus of this is that when they were coming up at the same time as comics, Bobcat Goldthwait hated Dana Gould. And now they're very close friends. And so it's basically just hanging out in a car with Dana Gould and Bobcat Goldthwait as they talk about different shows that they did, doing tours together, why Bobcat Goldthwait spent a lot of his career setting The Tonight Show on fire, and among other things of just the outrageous appearances he would make on talk shows, and interspersed with them on stage doing their material. And it's, an hour 15 long, so it's not a big ask. And it's one of those things, if you find either of them funny, and I find both of them funny, it was terrific. It doesn't ever get poignant, although there were some moments where Bobcat's talking about Robin Williams, who he was really close with, sort of like what that situation was like towards the end and all that. But, it doesn't ever get super heavy, but it is personal without being like maudlin. And it's just like two friends hanging out that make each other laugh, and that's kind of what they do. And it's, as far as the Bobcat Goldthwait oeuvre, it's not as like substantial as like Call Me Lucky or World's Greatest Dad or something like that. Or even, is it God Bless America? What is it? The one with
As God Bless America.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's right. But it's not as like meaty as something like that, but it's just a good time. And I had an absolute blast with it. It was just one of the handful of things, especially after watching all the Friedkin stuff that, we were going through, and going through like Let the Right One In and Let Me In for Dark Parade, as well as the Black Christmas stuff, and just hitting on like, oh, this is just a really funny look at two people who weren't always friends but now are very good friends. And it was really, kind of wonderful and whimsical and all that stuff. It was a great time. And nice. It's on all the streaming services, so if you're interested in something like that, $4 or $5 will get you a look at that movie, and I would certainly say it's worth it. So all right, but enough of good stuff, Duncan. You said you've got something that isn't good but something you enjoy, and that has me intrigued.
Oh man, right. So for doing the nasty, the episode that'll be dropping for everyone this weekend, I covered a movie called Mad Foxes from 1981.
Can I ask you one question before you get started?
Yes.
Are the foxes ladies?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It doesn't the title makes zero sense. Like, this is a Spanish exploitation movie. It's 81, I'm sure, because I remarked at the time that the following year PCs came out, and this would double really good with PCs. This is to exploitation, revenge cinema, like that PCs is to slasher movies, right? And that it kind of from a, like, if you were squinting from a distance, kind of looks like an exploitation revenge movie, but when you sit down and you watch it and try and critique the movie, it kind of fails in every frame. It just doesn't piece together. So let me set the story for you. Playboy extraordinaire in his car at the beginning, with he's very, very pretty, much younger girlfriend than him, are driving to some stoplights, and like the Nazi equivalent of the group of bikers from Every Which Way But Loose. You know, like
were they not Nazi bikers?
No, they were just bikers.
Okay, all right, go on.
Yeah. So those were like Hell's Angels or whatever. But like these bikers are like, but they're like like characters from Mad Max. They're all fucking weirdly dressed. Their helmets are all strange, and there's so much cod pieces, like so many cod pieces. But anyway, they get into
cod pieces as far as the eye can see. Duncan.
They're all colourful and decorative. Some are bedazzled. It was amazing. But they're at a stop, like intersection, and the guy does something to annoy the bikers, or the bikers do something to annoy the guy, whichever the setup is. But the guy retaliates and then drives off and then goes to a nightclub. And the bikers are like, right, we're going to mess with him. Right. So the bikers show up, they wait for him to come out, they viciously attack his girlfriend, stabbing her and leaving her to basically die, whilst doing one of the more graphic rapes I've seen, where you don't actually see anything, but just the concept is pretty horrible. And then they beat the shit out of this guy, right? And then leave him, and they've had their revenge. So all square, and then they go, right? So the guy decides, I will have my revenge. And then it's tit for tat all the way through the movie, but things keep escalating and people start dying. But this is how I'm going to sell this to you, right? The first rung of escalation is the guy goes to a karate dojo and gets a bunch of martial artists to attack these bikers in an open amphitheater in a Nazi biker versus guys all dressed in karate uniforms throwdown. And this is 15 minutes into the movie. And the movie's an hour and 15 minutes long. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? And it just keeps escalating. Every scene gets crazier and bonkers, and it has like the message behind it, the great kind of parable about revenge is basically, when seeking on a path for revenge, remember and pack 2 shovels. Like, so if you go out to get vengeance on someone, you're going to bury yourself essentially, or lose yourself in the journey. This movie takes that literally, like really literally. The ending is fucking amazing. But it's shot in Spain. It's shot during they were still under like the kind of fascist rule, I think, in the 80s in Spain. So all the scenes outside that are shot, the bikers are all wearing a red band with a white circle, no swastika, because they're shooting outside in Spain. But as soon as they go inside any building or they're inside any area, swastika just appears. There's no fucking continuity, none at all. They're just like, we can shoot this here because the police can't see us. As soon as they're out, it's gone. It's fucking nuts. It's maybe one of the most entertaining movies I've seen this year. It is horrendously bad. Like, horrendously bad. I mean, the acting is terrible. It gets almost laughable in points, but it's kind of like a weird cross between there's a bit of a Clockwork Orange in there for sure. But yeah, it's fucking nuts. And this movie exists. I didn't know it exists. I have now watched it, and it is one of the more entertaining movies I've seen. It is colossally bad, but there is not one frame in that movie where something isn't happening. I'm like, how did we get here? It's incredible.
All right.
So, yeah, Mad Foxes.
So let me counter that, Duncan, with a first-time watch for me, which you are going to find insane that it's the first time I've ever seen it. So, of course, I am talking about the holiday classic Invasion USA.
Really?
Yeah. I've seen almost no Chuck Norris in the course of my life.
How have you survived? How did you get through the 80s?
It just wasn't my thing.
But you went to VHS stores in the 80s. They might as well have just had like action, horror, Norris. You know what I mean? Might as well just have them all.
I just never found him that compelling a leading man.
Oh, he's terrible. He's
right.
a terribly good actor, but he's good at the action.
And I've seen Missing in Action 2, strangely, like a million times, the prequel to Missing in Action. But I'd never seen Invasion USA, and I knew all the stories about it. Like I saw Electric Boogaloo, and they talk about Invasion USA quite a bit in that. So I knew that stuff, but I just never seen the movie. And spoilers, we're about to do it on Pick 6 Movies. And so I sat down to watch it, and this is I think kind of like what you're talking about, where is the movie good? No.
Yeah. No.
Is it incredibly entertaining? Holy shit, yes.
Yeah.
And so the fact that in the course of this movie, there is a scene where, and this has nothing to do with Chuck Norris, who I still think is kind of a charisma repellent.
Oh God, he is. Yeah. Like he's anyone having any sense of enjoyment in this on the scene, he's a sponge that sucks up all that enjoyment.
Spoilers for Invasion USA, but at the end of the movie, with like the whole running bit about one of these days you're going to hear me say it's time to die, and then you're gonna die. And when you get to the ultimate confrontation between Chuck Norris and Richard Lynch, and he just goes, "It's time," and you're like, oh, I can't believe this is our hero. But when Richard Lynch goes...
by the way, Richard Lynch as a villain in anything is the greatest thing that's ever happened. So
he's amazing in it. When he goes into the office of Billy Drago, who shows up for 5 minutes in the movie.
That's all you need. That's all you need is 5 minutes of Drago. That's it.
Your friend died like a stuck Irish pig. Right. So, when Richard Lynch goes into his office and there's just the lady with the switchblade snorting blow in there for no reason. She only exists so that she could be thrown out a window in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Right.
Tuesday is the day I snort coke off a blade.
But there's a little bit, and it's kind of the first moment where you see Richard Lynch getting up to some shenanigans. But there's this terrific moment where they're chatting, like Billy Drago and Richard Lynch are talking about cocaine or something, and the woman is snorting blow with her little tube, her coke tube, and all of a sudden Richard Lynch just the switch flips, and he bangs the lady's head onto her cocaine tube. Driving it up into her nose, and suddenly blood is going everywhere. Then he grabs Billy Drago, takes his gun, and shoots him in the dick 3 or 4 times, killing him because of testicular blood, and then shoves this woman out the window, which you see in slow motion. I was like, I don't know what this movie is. How have I never seen this before? I mean, it was a revelation. And any scene with Chuck Norris is completely disposable. None of that stuff is very good. Any scene with Richard Lynch, having flashbacks of the time that Chuck Norris almost killed him and stuff, and just waking up. I don't know what nationality he's supposed to be in that movie.
Oh, they're like, yeah, wait till you watch Delta Force. I would love any Delta Force. Everyone's playing the wrong nationality in that movie. So
it's, dude, I was just over the moon. And like you said, this is not a great movie. It is not something that I would really recommend to people, but it's just one of those things that me personally, because of all the things broken about me, as I'm watching the movie, I couldn't have been happier. It was so entertaining. It was so wildly fun, and I just couldn't get enough. So
nice.
Boomer pointing out that Lone Wolf McQuade is, in his opinion, the best Chuck Norris film because he revives himself with a beer and drives his Bronco out of a pit after being buried in it.
Yeah.
It is stupid and amazing. He says that does sound pretty in theory, when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, that sounds great, but that means I also have to listen to Chuck Norris talk. And I hate that.
Yeah.
That is not a good time.
No.
Do we have any other further business before?
I think we might be in the zone now. Let's get into this. Episode 6.
Yeah, this is what is this? 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. is where we are.
Well, we've said this before. Technically, if the first episode was 6 a.m. and we're looping it round on a whole day, that would make sense. 12 to 3, 3 to 6, and that'll be fun.
And I don't think this conversation is going to take that long.
No, because genuinely, folks, I not that we're trying to shortchange you on this episode. Not a lot happens.
Yeah, Duncan.
Does anyone well? Here's the first question: does anyone actually die in this episode?
No.
So yeah, no. There's the first. And we've been moaning for how long about flashbacks? This may have the lowest flashback quota per episode this season thus far. There's about 6, I think.
Yeah, that's why I think this was the button episode of the season where they just didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And they had to do 8 episodes.
I also kind of think we've done the right idea by doing episode 7 and 8, because I think it is clearly going to ramp up in the last 2 episodes, so might as well put them together. But there's genuinely not a lot that happens with this, and to be honest, it went in a direction which was kind of painfully predictable to begin with. And yes, we are 100% now. I am saying we've already kind of known for a while now that who our killers were. 100% we're right. 100% we're right.
Yeah. For the record, those of you watching in chat, our prediction is that obviously the original killer of Kit and the lady with the bag in the tree is Wyatt. Is this guy that they've got arrested. But Jen and Connor
are 100% the killers.
Are the killers now.
Yeah, but the end of this episode where they're walking back into the apartment complex and Jen has to run away to do something, and then the next clip we see is the Saw clip with them with their faces stuck together. I'm like, all right, so Jen did it. And to double down on that even more, that there's 2 killers, Bo, and the police have worked that out. There are 2 MOs specifically happening with the deaths. Like the men are being killed one way, the women are being killed completely different. And I would say that Jen is a bit of a screw loose, Bo.
No.
Yes, I'm going there, Bo. I am going there.
Duncan, you're crossing lines. You're gonna get canceled. So we open, Duncan, on Sunset in Killersville or wherever we are. They're just lollipop. It's slashed by me.
I want to do the pop, but I can't do the pop. So,
yeah, that's what I've heard. Shots fired.
Well, the reason I don't do the pop, Bo, is because once you pop, the fun don't stop. So
I'm not even sure how tortured this metaphor has become.
I don't know. The thing is, I'm feeling I've recorded so many hours of content in the last 5 days. I am so punchy and delirious. I don't actually even know what show I'm doing at the moment.
Surprise, Duncan. We're talking about all the Friedkin movies again. Get out your notes.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Just as a little warning, folks. On Friday, I'm dropping an episode on the podcast Under the Stairs feed, which features Bo and the always amazing Doug Tilley.
Yes.
Because used to are. I would never do another director's thing that didn't have used to on it. I'd like, as soon as one of these couldn't do it, it would either not happen or be retired. But we went through the entire Friedkin back catalogue, and that took 7 hours. So
yeah,
that's a 7-hour episode that's dropping on Friday. It's a lot of talk about freaking. So
here's what's funny, Duncan, is
mm-hmm.
if God bless them if anyone ever listened to all of these things. So
Yeah.
like 2 hours worth of Pick Six movies drops that day.
Oh Jesus.
Another like half-ish hour of found footage Fool, and then 7 hours. So like if you wanted to, you could spend
a day. Yeah,
you could spend a whole day with me.
Spend a whole day with Bo.
That's right.
Treat yourself.
That's actually one of our Patreon tiers. It's our $50,000 tier, in which case I will come to wherever you are, and I will just hang out with you all day and stare creepily over your shoulder as you go about your business.
I thought it was going to be like an intimidation tactic. So whenever you're speaking to someone, you just appear behind them like that, looking at the person.
I just here's what I do, Duncan. Is I'm kind of their Flavor Flav, and so whatever they say, I just go yeah, or I repeat it.
Yeah, boy.
You sound more like Nick Frost when you do that.
Yeah, but it's because I'm not from America.
Yeah, hard to argue.
There's no way of getting around it. Yeah.
So
laugh livers from the deck.
All right, enough screwing around. We got to talk about this. So they're Stand By Me down the railroad tracks. It's Jen Connor and Shadia.
Yep.
And they are heading to the party, which we discover is in a condemned factory.
Yeah, we are following our three amigos. We are the three amigos. We are the three amigos. Yeah. But to get into this, we have to move a rusty fence and walk up to them. Like, when you get into this place, that's clearly not the route everyone else took to get there. Because this place is fucking jumping inside. And then, it's just, but they say, this is the thing, this is how Slasher, like right at the beginning, it's like, let's put a detail in here to fuck Duncan up. And they do it straight away. It's in the same location every year, right? That's what they say. The police show up and they close it all down, but the kids rip it back open and do it. So I'm the police officer that is investigating lots of crime that's happening on the anniversary of a famous killing that happened during the solstice party, and I have not one police officer down where they had it the year before. Bad cops, Bo.
Well, of course. And there's only like 3 of them anyway.
Well, yeah, at the moment we have only seen 3 police officers. And one of them's not got a name.
Yeah. So, like, Slasherberg is just not staffed up for this kind of activity.
They've had police cuts. This is not that I want to take a political stance here, but this is what happens when you follow through with defund the police.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 and they're all incompetent.
Yeah, no, fund the police in Slasherberg. That's my motto.
Please, yeah. Hashtag fund the police in Slasherberg.
Not everywhere.
No.
But yeah, so they enter this place, which is just lit by blue neon.
Of course.
And then Shadia gets startled because some asshole is just breaking bottles, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that always happens at these parties." And you're like, "Just some dude smashing bottles? All right." I mean, I guess however some people party different, Duncan. I never got that. Trust me, I party, right? But when I do party, I clean my glass when I'm finished with it. Right. I'm too polite that way. I make sure that my bottles are put in the recycling bin. Like, I don't know. I party in the way I'm sociable, but at the same time, conscious. Dude, speaking of, they walk into this party and there's a fucking car on fire in the middle of the party.
Molotov cocktailed car in the middle of this place. So
Alan says this is Doug Ford's Toronto. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. The Alex Jones of Canadian politics. And so everyone is dancing around this car fire and listening to just the worst EDM.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're all drinking, but there's no bar. There's a DJ playing there, but no evidence of where the electricity is coming from. What can only be described as a small city grid lighting up this fucking place. And then there's people up there. They've hired performance artists because there's people up there doing the swishy ropes, which are also got flames on them. And I'm like, this feels really, really, really elaborate for what is ultimately a street party.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And so they get text, or Jen gets a text saying, hey, we caught the killer, and now it's time to celebrate. Like, everybody's down to party because the druid has been caught.
Yay.
So we leave the party for a moment to go back to the apartments where Sheriff Dan is passing Angel in the hall and gives him a real, like, arm check, really throws him against the wall. And Angel is like, look, I know you were just fucking with me there, but I just want to offer my condolences about Emma Notbert's that we recently learned got, her face acidified.
Face melted.
Yeah.
Like, not only melted, but it was melted in a toilet as well.
Yeah.
An insult to injury.
And Sheriff Dan is like, but you don't mind your own business, goddammit. And anyway, so Angel's like, fine, whatever, man, I'm out of here. And we see that watching all of this is Renee.
Yeah, they are playing so hard into being a red herring in this, and it doesn't make any sense.
The fact that she's not dressed up like a giant red fish is shocking.
I can't possibly get through these doors with my gills.
I'm swimming upstream. Yeah, it's so stupid. And she's looking all dark and mysterious and crazy and fishy. And she is going through Angel's trash that he has just thrown out, like you do.
Because she's a trash lady? I don't know.
And she finds a razor in there.
Yeah.
That I don't remember coming to anything.
It hasn't come to anything yet.
Okay.
I think I don't know. At first I thought she was going to be doing voodoo or something. I was like, at least that's something, but no, I don't think we're getting that. She rakes through the bin, and then I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Where are we going now, Slasher?
All right, well, we go to Angel's apartment, where he's kind of looking through his phone, swiping through pictures of him and Joe.
Yeah, remembering himself of better times, Bo.
Yeah, and he got his Spotify rap, and it was all of the love songs that he had fucked Joe to, and he was just like, you know what? I'm going to listen to I Will Remember You, and look at this guy that I enjoyed railing. And so he gives him a call, and then we cut to the pile of bloody bodies that is Joe and
a boiler
Dawn.
room?
I guess they're in a dumpster somewhere.
Yeah, there's a fire or something in the background. So it made it immediately look like potential, like some sort of boiler room or some sort of furnace room or something.
Or the rave.
I mean, at this stage, maybe the druid wheeled them up there as well. I just don't know. And you know what, Bo? I just don't care.
And so that's our credits moment. Usually we get something really shocking and a murder or something. Not this time. We just cut to credits where they're like, oh, yeah, remember these two assholes are dead?
Yeah.
Slasher.
Yeah. One of them got stabbed in the dick a lot, and the other one went, bah! Well, her eyes when she got stabbed. It's literally my favorite thing from the last episode. Her eyes go like that when she gets stabbed in the head. It's amazing.
Yeah, that they should have at least given us a close up of her crazy eyes.
Like that, it would have been amazing.
I like that. It sounds like James Horner is scoring.
You know what it is? It's the I've somehow equated, like, Pennywise can do the thing with his eyes in that remake, right? But there's the bit where David Hayter is like finally getting the courage, and he goes up there and he's like, you think you can talk? And then he gets the deadlights hits him, and it hits him with the Evil Dead noise, and his eyes go white. but it goes, and it goes, on this, right? And I've equated the two together, that's what happens when Penny's, it doesn't go like that. But yeah, so we jump into the most lackluster, unceremonious slasher intro credit ever.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been an episode that has done just that. There's always someone dies, or like the killer's in the background, or there's some big reveal. And this one, the camera pans over two characters that died. If you were watching this back to back, like 3 minutes ago, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like not like, oh, this is the big reveal. Where have the bodies been for 4 episodes? Like Emma Notbert's. It's like they're not there, obviously. And now we're into let's get the hard questions answered from this guy Wyatt Bo.
So back at the party.
That's right. We got the party first.
Yeah, there's a totally useless scene where Shadia tries some of Connor's weed and then asks him to dance. And then that's the whole thing. And then we go to the ME, the sexy ME that we both like, where Sheriff Dan has come down to look at the body for no reason. It's not like they don't know who this is. And he's just like, well, I want to see her, goddammit. What if she's only sleepy?
Yeah.
And so the Emmy is like, are you sure you want to see this? Because it's kind of gnarly. And he's like, I definitely want to see her, goddammit.
Yeah, she's not asleep. She's just very badly burned.
Yeah. I'm very badly burned.
I'm very badly burned.
So he strokes her hair a little bit, and like they pull back the sheets, and he's just like, oh, goddammit, she is dead as shit. Sorry, I doubted you. I'm sorry about that. And then he like flashes back not to a year ago like all the other flashbacks, but it's her like learning to ride a bike when she was like 4.
Yeah.
And
I think like Dan only has 2 memories of his daughter. One is when she's 4, another one's when she's 6 and she's drawn some pictures on the floor. And every other time he's been so drunk he can't remember.
Yeah.
And that's why you only ever see 2.
Right. When we flash back again, it's just back to that.
Yeah.
Like, that was a pretty good goddamn day. I don't remember nothing else, but that was all right. Before she became a whore. And then the detective, meanwhile, is questioning. This is where she's questioning Wyatt.
This is a painful scene to watch.
Yeah, and he just starts off by being like, I did it. It was me.
She's like, it's time for you to tell. It's time for you to confess. And he's like, I'm the killer. And I'm like, if only, like, but the thing is, she's like, yeah, that's right, you are. And I'm like, no, this is the bit you go outside, you get the written confession, you get him to sign it, case closed, book him Dano. But no. She's like, yeah, you like this? Kent, you kill Kent? And he's like, yep, I did that. And she's like, yeah, we know you did that because we found the knife, which he's apparently just kept for a year in his living room.
Yeah.
Wrapped in plastic. You know what I mean? He's like just like, and then he's like, yeah. So then she puts the woman whose name we didn't even bother to remember. So he pushes that across, and he's like, yep, killed her. And she's like, oh yeah, we know you killed her because we've got that murder weapon as well, and the outfit you wore, which has got the blood in it. Yeah. And then she's like, what about this? And it's Emma Notbert's face, and he's like, oh, like, holy shit!
It is a real like, oh, how, yay!
Oh, and then she's like, yeah, what are you gonna say about that? Well, what about this? And she slides over Thingy's face with the coffee. No, his body's not been found yet.
No. This is the sexy teacher. It's her dissected. Yeah,
that's the one where he goes, oh my god, holy gee. And he starts laughing as if it's a fake picture. And she's like, yeah, you're gonna admit that. And he's like, is your case here that you're just gonna show me all these random pictures of murder and just pin it on me? And she's like, no, you did all these. And he's like, I didn't do those. Like,
I totally killed Kit and that other lady, but this
my
is
work.
Yeah, no.
My work, not my work. And not taking credit for.
Then she tries to strong arm him a little bit here by saying
she's such a bad cop, by the way.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm a legend. I can't wait to go to jail. I'm going to be the king.
Yeah.
And she says, you know what makes a legend in jail? The one who kills a legend. And he's like, no.
Yeah, he's like a huh?
Well, I never thought of that. I was just thinking about being a legend. Like,
yeah, I am the legend of this. He's cutting about here as if he's, what's his face? Benny, what was his name? Benny Ironside from the previous season.
yeah.
Yeah.
Benny Ironsides.
Yeah, let's say I build my castle strong. You know what I mean? It's like all that. See, I can remember that. That's how fucked up this year's been. I can remember things like small conversations from season 2 of Are you happy, Bo?
No, almost never. So after she leaves him with that little bon mot, she heads out, and the junior detective is watching through the glass and is like, boy, this guy's a real piece of work, huh?
He's literally like that. It's like the worst serial killer in Slasherville's history. And he's like, yeah, this guy over here. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, yeah, something's not adding up here. I'll tell you what I need you to do is like pull some evidence for me, go like that, get me 2 coffees or get 2 large coffees. And he's kind of looking at her and she's like, please tell me that you did not make plans after we've arrested a notorious serial killer and he's been in our custody for 2 minutes. She's like, no.
I didn't make plans. I had plans.
I kind of had them already.
All this has happened in the space of 15 hours.
Yeah.
So I got tickets to the game.
Well, yeah, because from his point of view, he showed up for his morning shift, like probably doing a 9 to 5. There was not going to be there was going to be no killing, Bo.
Right, it's Slasherburg. Nothing ever happens in Slasherburg except once a year at the solstice party.
Safest place in Slasherdom.
except once a year.
Yeah, exactly. One place, one year, one day of the year, and then it all goes wrong. But yeah, so she's like, oh, we're going to crack this case. And I'll be honest with you, this is as exciting as all the return visits to the police department get. It's all kind of armchair psychology from 2 cops that are just doing every cliche in the book. Painful.
Yeah, this whole episode is just so much nothing. So, all right, then we go back to the party, Duncan.
Yep.
Where Jen goes off to find a drink or whatever. Disappears from the party.
Yeah, like to send emails to people to set them up.
Yeah.
Which is what she's fucking doing. But yeah, she's going to wait to get a drink, Bo. Like people that listen to the audio version can't hear the air quotes I just did there over the word drink.
I think they can hear it. And then so the generator blows at this point. And I don't mean that it's not a very good generator. It just actually blows up. And all the lights go out. And Connor is like, oh, this happens every year. It's like, how old are you? How many of these have you been to?
Yeah.
Or did you start coming when you were 14?
All of them.
So, Alan pointing out, how many autopsies have happened in this last 15 hours?
5.
Yeah.
Like 5.
Yeah.
Like, it's unreal. Like, at this point, you would be outsourcing to the county next to you to get their coroner to come in and assist.
The veterinarian, the local butcher, just anybody that knows how to work with a knife and meat.
It's just so silly. And also, I'm sure she went through another costume change.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
She's had a different outfit every single episode.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that about her. Because that's her thing. That's her quirk. Makes 0 sense, but that's her quirk.
After every autopsy, she changes. That's how she rewards herself, It's like after I do like a long day at work, I'll stop off and get myself a milkshake or something just to give myself a little pat on the back. Yeah. On the other hand, she just goes through a wardrobe change.
I do like the idea that every episode, though, she's changing her clothes as if to say to me, do I look sexy in this, Duncan? I'm like, yes, you do. And then the next episode, she's like, what with this shirt? Does this look sexy? I'm like, yes, it is. It really is. And I can confirm every single episode, she looks very sexy.
Yeah. What about this? These are just some plain cargo pants and a t-shirt. Yes. Also great.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah.
What about the hoop in the nose? Is that too much or?
No. Let's get another one.
I need more hoops. But we're saying they didn't tell the actress this was all one day. Like nobody just mentioned it to her. Like, oh, by the way, this is every few hours. Did you know that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Either that or she's really clumsy. She's always at the catering area and she keeps spilling ketchup dinner. She's like, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to change my top again.
Yeah, she goes for coffee and ketchup and just, oh no. So, anyway, Duncan. So, Sadia overhears some kids talking some smack about her or Middle Eastern people or something.
It's not even necessarily some kids. It's specifically that one kid whose name I haven't
Charlie
even bothered.
is his name.
Yeah, Charlie, who let's just call him his real name, cocksucker, right? Cunt bag. How about that? Right? Cunt face, right? He's up there going, yeah, because they all chop off their heads. You should probably hide the axe up inside their turban. Oh, this. And of course, Sadie has enough of this. She goes across and she slaps him in the face and tells him, fucking watch it. And then Connor comes up and he threatens him, where we get like a bro moment where they're both broing up to each other. And then this fucking Craig or whatever his name is, he goes away. And that's the end of that scene.
Yeah, that sets up the later scene, I suppose.
Well, it sets up the Connor saying, not because when Craig's leaving, he says to Sadia, I'm just saying what everyone's thinking, and of course she bursts into tears, and then Connor's like that. Not everyone's thinking that.
Yeah,
yeah. Alan, you're spot on. She is CSI Cher. I love it.
That was CSI Cher is quite good. But also, we do get a flashback here where Shadia, we see like her looking through some lattice.
This is her flashback as well, and it's fucking like the thing is, we were wrong, but we were right, Bo, because what we said is that Dan's flashback would be some sort of act of terrorism or act of war of something, that he lost someone close to him, hence his racist tendencies, right? But no, we were wrong. What we get is basically how Sadia's family ended up leaving Afghanistan. And even then, this is the cheapest, low budget. This is set in Afghanistan. You can tell that because they're in a dark room with an orange light shining through, because that's the sun. It's fucking awful, man. It's absolutely awful. But yeah, there's a lot of death happening around her. And this is her having this kind of flashback to stuff that happened when she was still living in Afghanistan before she became a refugee.
Yeah, it is no rules of engagement, that's for sure.
God, dude, don't pull at that thread.
So Sheriff Dan, meanwhile, is unsurprisingly passed out on his couch.
Yeah.
And wakes up with a vision of Emma Notbirds hugging him.
Yeah, she comes across, she gives him a hug.
Mm-hmm.
He starts to hold her hair. The hair starts falling out. He moves her head back. That's not how it's supposed to be. And he goes, whoa, and then wakes up.
Well, and yeah, there's another flashback of her riding a bike, and then one of her coloring.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the other memory. Alan pointed out, like, these are all false memories brought on by alcohol. But I remember a teacher ride a bike, and I think she colored one time.
Yeah, it's literally like he's doing the thing from Usual Suspects where he's just looking around the room and going, like, we went fishing, Kobayashi.
We built a ship in a bottle of Tito's vodka. We found a mouse in a bottle of beer. What else we do? Goddammit.
Yeah. That one summer we got stuck on an island and befriended a ball.
That time we watched television. That was a good time. And so, yeah. So he wakes up with a scream, wah! And
just, wah, goddammit.
Wah, goddammit. And sure enough, there's an email from one of his racist pals who has like like an email that's like, I love white people 6969 or something.
Yeah. It's the most fucking stupid. And it's like, I know who killed your daughter.
Right. And he like sends a message back that's like, "They caught who killed my daughter. God damn it! I saw her gross face at the ME's office. Who, by the way, had a really sexy hoop in her nose. Now stop sending me bullshit." And the email is like, "Nah, bro. Here's the real place where you can find the killer." And it's just a picture of like the back door of this apartment building. And so Renee once again watches as Sheriff Dan just books it out of his apartment to, follow the advice of this email.
Because Aaron Martin's like that, they'll think it's Renee.
Yeah. Yeah. And Boomer say like all these people are just caricatures. Just you wait, because we'll get to the reason he's racist, because that is the dumbest shit ever.
It is maybe the laziest piece of writing I've ever seen in slasher. I mean, like up there amongst the laziest. What makes people white nationalists? Well, and it comes back to the same thing. What makes them white nationalists, Bo? Internet.
But it's one Google search. It's just
it's one Google search and an enter. That is it. That's all it takes, Bo.
It is. Yeah.
And you're always that's the lesson that slasher is telling you. You're only one quick click away on the internet from becoming a white nationalist. It's profound, man. It's profound.
Don't I know it? So while he's slipping away to the back door of the apartment building, Renee manages to wedge through his door using her keys and her flipper on account of her being a red herring, Duncan. Yeah.
And I got it.
And so she goes into Sheriff Dan's place and sniffs some of Emma Notbert's clothes.
Yeah.
And then sees some hair in a brush, which I guess leads credence to your idea that Renee might be a witch.
I thought it was voodoo. I genuinely thought it was voodoo.
I mean, we know? It still could be.
She could still technically be involved in the murders.
Oh my God, Duncan. What if she's using voodoo to manipulate her children into killing?
I would at least, if that's the reveal, I would at least tip my cap.
That surprise voodoo happened?
Yeah, because that's remember when I was talking about that movie earlier on, Mad Foxes? That's Mad Fox's level of writing. If that's how it turned out to be, like at this stage, like we know it's definitely those two, but like if she's doing some sort of voodoo thing up there,
like a Weekend at Bernie's 2 kind of voodoo spell or something to make them. Oh, that would be amazing.
But because we've written her off completely as a character because she doesn't have any value to this TV show. She didn't add anything. In the previous episode, she was pouring salt at someone's door, going hee and running up the hall.
Doing more voodoo shit, Duncan.
Yeah, voodoo magic, man.
Yeah, like the Predator. Yeah, I was about to say is going to show up.
Yeah, information about the one who'll be doing all the killings, Aya.
He's in town with a few days to kill.
Fucking voodoo magic, man. King Willie. Big King Willie. That's Rennie's name now from now on. We will know her as King Willie, and she will speak as King Willie from Predator
2. Alan says that Renee's a ripoff of the Session 9 crazy lady. Which is not...
the one...
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we talking about the one that doesn't appear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think so.
So the one in the hidden scenes. Yeah, I like that.
So Angel, meanwhile, is skimming through some more old pictures of him and Kit because he gave up on Joe after trying to call him in the dumpster.
Like, it's like Angel's just sitting there going, "Oh, I miss Joe so much. Give him my phone." Right, he's not answering. "Oh, I miss Kit. I miss Kit so much."
Well, I can't
phone him. He's dead.
I think this is actually a flashback though, because he ends up going to Sheriff Dan's apartment.
This is basically the night that Kit dies. So they've already broken up at this point. So,
and also the night that Sheriff Dan becomes a racist.
This is what right. So like, but then the timeline doesn't make sense. No, it does because we get that flat. No. We get that later on.
No, this is where it happens because he's going
but
to.
He didn't split up with Kit then. No, right, I've got you. I know what we're doing. Right, so yeah, you're right. So he's looking at pictures of Kit, and then we get a flashback to when he's in the building and he goes to Dan's door, knocks on Dan's door. Dan, of course, is ever charming self. The only person in the whole complex whose haircut hasn't changed in the flashbacks.
Yeah,
I ain't doing it, goddamn it.
I'm not cutting one hair off my goddamn head or my face. You can just get that thought right out your head.
He opens the door though, and Angel's like that. Listen, I know we don't usually talk. However, I'm going around all the apartments. I'm asking to see if they've got any spare money, furniture, clothing, something to help this refugee family that are moving into the building.
Well, let me just ask you one question, Angel, if that is your real name.
Your real name? God damn it.
Who is collecting money for white people?
Yeah.
And
this is literally what he says, because he opens the door and we see another fake memory of Emma Nottbert's drawn, but you can clearly tell it's a fake memory from someone that has alcohol syndrome, because the red crayon that she's drawn with is also all over her face as well.
Yeah. Am I pretty now, Daddy? So
the thing is, when you did that, I just got a horrific image of you just sitting in the mirror one day, just while lipstick, just going, "Am I pretty, Daddy? Am I pretty?
Daddy, am I pretty now?" So that's all I want to do now. So, but Sheriff Dad,
oh fuck,
is like, I'm going to teach you shits a lesson, and just slams the door.
Yeah,
and then goes to his computer and hand to God.
This is true. This is the origin story of Sheriff Dan.
Yeah, just Googles who helps white people. Enter, goddammit. And then
enter, goddamn. But the button doesn't say enter, it just says goddamn.
Right. It's his comma is also goddammit. It's just several of the keys, really. But
the keyboard's only made up of the letters to spell the word goddamn it.
God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. That's his resume. We notice you're applying for a job here at Urban Ministries. And it just says, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it.
Yeah, previous occupation appears to be God damn it.
Yeah, that's right, God damn it.
References a Mr. God damn it.
That's right, also, God damn it. I worked with his other brother, God damn it. They're friends of the goddamn family. So,
there you go. We've got a suggestion for your next Patreon paywall, which is just you applying lipstick on.
Once we hit 40 patrons,
yeah,
I will do a video with red lipstick with me putting it on going, am I pretty now, Daddy?
That's worth its weight in gold, ladies and gents.
Yeah,
Get on it.
And we're close. I made it a reasonable goal. Okay. Well, oh, yeah. So he Googles who helps white people, and then immediately gets a bunch of like web results that are all just like white power. Do you hate other?
Like fucking Stormfront appears on his page, so he can fucking click in it. It's the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened. Like that's not how Google works.
Yeah,
Google promotes things that you've searched before. So
oh my god!
Like that in the fucking.
It's so stupid.
But this page comes up and it's all fucking, and they can't. Obviously, the show doesn't want to go full on, so it's like a black symbol, but it's like. It's like quasi-satanic as well, but
yeah,
it has an enter button and he presses enter. And that is legitimately, no bullshit, the origin story of why Dan became a racist.
yeah. You just see the light bulb go off over his head. Like, I think these people are making some good points. God damn it! And that's it. That is as much background as we get.
He
for
lost
this
a family member in 9/11. We had that maybe served overseas. You know, things that are cliche but would at least make sense. Not an altercation with one of his neighbors in the hall. Like, have you ever been so angry with a neighbor that you joined a white nationalist group?
Yeah. I mean, not recently, but sure, we've all been there. It would be like if I Googled like, how do you fly, and then just immediately became a bird.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
So bad, man.
All
so bad.
So Angel then gets an email from Sheriff Dan saying, hey, I want you to meet me at the back door, goddammit. And also throws down some trash talk about Angel's record with boyfriends. Of like, boy, you just not having any luck, are you, goddammit? One's dead, the other just decided he was going to be straight again, goddammit. And so Angel is like, well, I've had enough. I'm going to go to this weird back door of this apartment building.
At this point, I hope Angel dies because he's a fucking moron.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's...
You know what I mean? At this point, just get them out. Let's just get them all away, please.
So then we go back to the party where Jen runs afoul of this guy, Charlie, who's dressed up like the druid. Oh, by the way, we do get a death in this episode. I forgot about it because it happened so fast and it doesn't matter.
It's Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie gets murdered in this episode with the sword from Final Fantasy VII.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It is the biggest, either that or like a modified batleth from like Star Trek, is the biggest fucking sword biggest bladed serrated holy sword thing, which apparently he manages to swallow the majority of it. That's not how that works either.
I would love it if the Emmy was like, well, look, I've been doing a little bit of research. I think he was killed by Cloud from Final Fantasy.
It's the same sword. It's a big, thick old fucking bat. It's right, granted, it's got drill holes in it, but it's a sword he's killed with. It's like he taped up blade because it has a proper like leather handle at the end. And how the killer has this makes no sense. It makes no sense, Bo.
So he's basically getting mildly to excessively rapey with Jen. Yeah. And it's like, I can do anything I want without your brother around. And maybe I am the druid. And Jen is like, no. They arrested the druid. Also, I'm
she's
kind
like,
of the druid.
Yeah, like, you're not the druid. I'm the druid. Did I say that? Ooh.
But yeah, this Charlie guy's like, oh, what if they got the wrong guy? And Jen then slips away with some girls who are passing by to get away from this dude.
Yeah, obviously to head to get her druid outfit, which she's about to put on to murder this dude.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't go back to Connor and Shadia.
Yeah.
And so anyway, Sheriff Dan, we get a quick moment where he goes to the back door, slips inside, and then we cut back to the party. And Shadia has now ceased to have a good time.
Yeah, that ship sailed a while ago, and Connor is talking to her about like lots of different things, and she talks about like the idea, the concept of this party where people would dress up like someone who murdered someone the year before seems a bit silly. And Connor's trying to do his best job here. Well, it's no different than people dressing up like zombies. And she says, well, it's not the same to those that have actually seen death, and these people haven't seen death. And Connor's like, and she's like, I didn't mean you and Jen because your mum killed herself with fire.
Right.
And he's like, right. She's like, no, I mean actual to see death. And then Connor, we finally like it's almost as if Aaron Martin's like, use the flashback. And he's like, like
Luke, use the flashback.
It's like, I never asked you what happened. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. And I was like, don't tell him, please don't. And I can feel myself being drawn into a flashback. It's like that movie Final Girls, whenever they go to do a flashback, you get drawn in. Is that thing where you get drawn in. Basically, she talks through the story. Her parents and her lived with her grandparents and some other family in one building. And they took in people they weren't supposed to, that were deemed as outlaws by the government. The government found out and acted like the Afghan government, maybe we would assume the Taliban here, where they just showed up and murdered everyone.
These flashbacks march in a single line to hide their numbers. Yeah,
and they were brought out of the flashback, and that's how they became the refugee family that ended up where they did.
Yeah, right. And she, there's a thing where Shadi is like, I'm cursed. I'm surrounded by death. Everywhere I go, death follows me. And Connor's like, curses are bullshit. I'm the one doing all the killing. I mean, nothing.
Yeah. I mean, death's beside you, not following you. Mm-hmm.
And so we cut back to the detective and junior detective, who are. This is the scene that you were talking about earlier, where they're like, wait a second. So Kit and this lady were both killed by a knife, but then all these other people were killed by acid and dissections and a head on. Yeah. Huh. It's almost like there's two people committing these murders.
But then, so they're trying to split this up, and specifically the main detective, she's like that. No, listen, when I put that picture down in front of him of the school teacher, like, he didn't act like someone who was proud of or had seen this before. He was repulsed by it, and I can tell that. So we're onto something here, and we're going to sit here and go through all this until we work it out.
Yeah, and she just sends him to go get more evidence, non-specific evidence. Go get some.
Yeah, get evidence. What evidence? Evidence.
Yeah. Who? Everyone.
Yeah. she channels her inner Oldman, and sends him away. And yeah, we're gonna really labor this point in every conversation you have to the end of this episode. So we will return to them, and it's like baby steps trying to work out what the fuck is going on.
All right, so back to Sheriff Dan, who is strolling through the bowels of this building and discovers that Angel is now there.
Yeah.
And he's like, the hell are you doing down here, goddammit? And Angel is like, you told me to come. And he's like, I didn't send you any messages, goddammit. I do all my homoerotic fantasies in private in my bathroom, where I put a thumb up my ass and I crank it. And he's like, well, what do you do? He's like, I just have a good time, goddammit, shut up. And then Angel shows him the email. And he's like, well, I didn't send that, goddammit. And neither of these geniuses have noticed that the door is closing slowly behind them.
Yeah. But then Angel's like that. Wait 1 second. We've been catfished, because remember, the internet is bad, Bo.
Yeah, it uses the term catfished.
Yes, he uses the word catfished, which is a term which is now so old, even by 2019. Call other things now. We don't call it catfishing, but yeah. So they two are trapped in here, and of course Dan is like super fucking hostile about everything. He's so angry about everything, and he keeps threatening Angel. So something's eventually going to happen here, and it's probably going to be the end result that Dan's going to get his ass kicked, and we are going to get to that, listeners. So
yeah, the one quality moment of the episode, and then we go to a flashback because, as Boomer pointed out in the chat, these flashbacks are like Ash being sucked into the rift. We're just, for God's sake, how do you stop it?
Yeah, it's literally it. Yeah, so I've flung into another flashback. What is our flashback about this time, Mo?
This is Jen and her mom outside Sheriff Dan's joint.
Yeah, so this is the night of the killing because of what's mentioned in this scene, which is Sheriff Dan has apparently reported Rennie and I think we ever get her the mother's name, so we're just going to say the cause of all the murder in this building. And she's like, you put another noise complaint in. He's like, yeah, too right. I put a noise complaint in. He's like, you two, and I hate using this word, and I do apologize, but you two dykes next door. You can't keep it down. I'm going to do that. You can't have a conversation without smashing plates. And then Angel's walking past, and like, Angel, he's like, well, he tries to get involved. Dan's abusive to him, more like homophobic slurs.
Right.
He starts walking away, and then they go up to him and they're like, you need to help us. They put a complaint against you. Can maybe do a petition. And then he turns on her and says, well, maybe you should have thought of that before you put that real hurtful comment about Kit on Twitter.
Well, yeah, and he makes the point too when she's like, are you gonna stand here and let him talk to me like that? And he's like, well, you guys are loud as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
he's not wrong. He's a terrible person, but he's not wrong. And like you said, also brings up the fact that she did this horrible thing on the internet.
It's like, next time you want help from a neighbor, just make sure that you don't mock his dead best friend or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So then he walks off. So we're like,
and very pointedly, Jen kind of gives him the side eye.
Yeah.
And is like, oh, I'm definitely going to kill you next year.
Yeah, you are going on. That it's the list from Billy Madison that Steve Buscemi has. So it's just like, and he's putting on lipstick as well, Bob.
It's a running theme. Baby, look pretty, daddy. I'm so pleased by this.
It's just so needless. It's needlessly graphic as well. It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, so she sees it. She gives side eye once again, giving us motive, Bo.
Yes, means motive and opportunity. That's what every serial killer needs. So we go back to the Saw room where Angel and Dan are trapped, and Angel tries to call 911. But doesn't get a signal, and neither does Sheriff Dan. So that's
from his old atomic brick or something that he says he gets no signal from that.
This thing's rugged ass, goddammit. Just like that thing from Jericho, that laptop. Did you ever watch it? That had they sent nuts to CBS to get that show back on air. Goddammit, I know a lot about Jericho. I learned that right after I Googled about what white people get.
Yeah. Oh, that's so silly.
So back at the party, Sadia runs off to take a leaky loo, leaving Connor alone. And they're kind of chit-chatting, but as soon as she leaves, we kind of see the smile fade from his face a little bit.
Yeah, so I think Connor's the one that kills Craig. Or Charlie. What's his name? Charles.
Charlie.
Yeah,
because Jen is back at
she must be
apartment.
Back doing the gas. Yeah.
So Sadia ends up finding a disgusting toilet, but is nonetheless going to take a leak there. And then our druid imposter Charlie shows up, and she tries to get past him, but he grabs her, and he's like, how about you give me an apology? And it just is generally a creep to her, and finally lets her go.
Yeah, he says, how about you give me an apology? And he takes his zip down and pulls his dick out that we don't see, thank God. And she's like, I don't want to give an apology. And he's like, I think you maybe try a little bit harder than that. So she says he's very sorry. And he's like, you tell me you don't want any of this. And she's like, no, I want to go back to the party.
100% not, no.
Yeah. So he flips it, zips it, and then she goes away. And he's about to do something. And then the druid appears from out of nowhere with the sword from Final Fantasy VII, the gunblade. And then that goes right down his throat. And once again, great kill.
Yeah.
Gnarly looking. I love the kills.
Tifa is like, Cloud, no.
Yeah. And then there's a chocobo in the back for some reason. We haven't worked out why. But he starts pulling the sword out. And so Charlie's dead. Oh no, not Charlie.
Not our favorite character, Charlie.
I couldn't give a fuck about this. We had two characters here that should be dead. But we're running out of characters now in this apartment complex, which makes me feel like maybe in the previous episode, we should have just killed Dawn or Joe, not both of them together.
Yeah, this episode would have been far superior if you had allowed Dawn to die at the beginning of it to give you the cross eyes.
Like that, yeah, that would have been amazing. So, but yeah, so they're trapped. So we've kind of worked out who's killing what the order is.
Yeah.
Charlie's dead.
And Sadia heads back to the party to ask Connor, like, hey, can we leave now? I just want to go home and eat a bunch of snacks like nachos and ice cream. And definitely I want that ice cream to be chocolate caramel swirl. And then Connor says, you mean like us? And you're like, what? I mean, I guess, but this is really not the
love to you, woman. I want to lay down by the fire.
I mean, boy, the seduction game on Slasher is perhaps not at its peak.
Top notch. I would never hit on a woman and use ice cream as the method.
Hey, baby, you You want to go down the rocky road tonight? Like, I don't think so. Oh, I'm gonna chocolate your mint. I'm gonna leave moose tracks.
Oh, that sounds
all up and
like
down.
That's something a woman doesn't want done. Like you tell. No,
how about we do some banana fudge swirl? It's like, no.
No, that sounds horrible. Not going anywhere near my fudge swirl. So anyway, so like we have them leaving the party now. So that's the part. This whole thing that we've been building to, this summer solstice thing that's been this whole party thing, we've spent approximately 10 minutes in it.
Yeah, and now it's time to go home again. But as Tom Wolfe said, you can never go home again, Duncan.
You never go home again, Bo.
All right. So let's go back to our, as Alan points out, the red catfished Sheriff Dan and Angel, who are just arguing. Like Sheriff Dan is like, I don't much care for you flaunting your lifestyle around all up in my face, making me all hard and whatnot, goddammit. And he ends up slapping the phone out of Angel's hand and breaks it.
Breaking the phone, actually breaking the phone, which understandably pisses him off. And then Sheriff Dan decides to start calling him Angel, which is a trigger because he at first says something about his daughter is a lousy parent. See how your kid grew up, and he's like, "You take that back, goddammit." And then he starts calling him Angel, and obviously Angel gets flashbacks to when the shit was whipped out of him, and then he goes all fucking Hulk smash, and he like basically tackles him down, beats the ever loving fuck out of him. It just keeps beating him. But what neither one of them is noticeable is the gas that's entering the room.
Sheriff Dan finally points out, he's like, "Hey, goddammit, gas, and not me this time."
Yeah, not me. It's the first time that's happened. So yeah, like, and of course Angel starts to panic, but the gas is too strong, and the two of them pass out, and we will return to them at the end of the episode.
Yep. For no good reason. And so
no reason at all.
There's a moment where we see the junior detective showing back up with a stack of mugshots. But that's really all that comes to. So then we reassemble our dream team of Connor, Jen, and Sadia at the apartment with their stoner snacks.
Stoner snacks, man. But there's a police officer just stationed at the back, and they're like, well, this is one of the things that you get the quick trigger from, because they're like, why would the police need to be here? The druid's being caught, and then is it Sadia says that maybe they've got the wrong guy or something, and Jen's like, I gotta poop, and she disappears. Like she fucking runs off because she is essentially turning the gas off and
gluing,
sticking the two faces of these two guys together. Okay, and Connor's like, well, you know, we could go to my house, but my mum's crazy. She's also got this giant voodoo shrine, and you know, it's weird. And she's like, well,
she's been making this guy Bernie dance. It's a whole project she's working on right now. I don't think we should disturb it.
Yeah, but just for the weekend though. It's only happening over the weekend.
Yeah,
so they go to Sadia's room. Is where they're going to go to eat their snacks. Probably Mac out, and then that's what's going to be the catalyst for whatever happens to her. But yeah, like Jen's disappeared. The gas has been turned off. Our police have completely sorted out now that there's not only is Wyatt a killer, but we now have another killer who appears to have two MOs. One of them is when attacking guys, it's very violent and very quick, but when it's attacking women, it's tortured. It's like labored out. It's, you know, it takes its time. It's something with like real malice behind it, which they're like, I wonder what this can mean. I was like, two fucking killers, police officers. So we go away from them because this means fucking nothing, Bo.
Yeah,
it means absolutely nothing in this episode. It's progressed as like all it's done is it's got the police to the point where they think that the killer might still be out there, which is something we should have known right at the beginning when they showed him the photos and why it's like, I didn't do that.
Yep. And so we get one final moment at the very end of this episode where Dan and Angel wake up to find their faces glued together, and they both start screaming. Yeah. Like... And that's it. And then credits. And you're like, I guess.
So yeah,
this is truly the most nothing episode of the season. Like nothing.
I think it's the most nothing episode of the whole like run. I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
Like there was always something happening with the Executioner in season 1, and season 2, every character something bad happened to them at the end. Like every single character. And now in this one here, it's like, do you know what I mean? There's like it progresses that like the audience knows exactly what the audience knew at the start of the episode.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that the audience has learned absolutely nothing in this episode. Yeah. A character that didn't matter to begin with is dead, but kind of so what? And
you could argue that the police are now pointing towards 2 killers, which might be, but even then, do we need to spend 45 minutes to get that point across?
Right. And you establish a bunch of stuff like, with Jen and Connor that kind of suggests, so when it's finally revealed that they're the killers, then it's going to be like somewhat justified or whatever. But oh my God, it's this show, Duncan. This was a real bottom of the barrel episode, even for Slasher.
One recording left, man, and that is us done.
Yeah. So let me say this. Folks who have been watching, not just tonight, but just in general, and listening to us go through Slasher, I appreciate everyone kind of giving us forewarning that the end is going to be stupider than we think it is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's possible, but I also keep saying that, and Slasher keeps getting even stupider than I expect.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to get in a pissing contest with this show, because this show will win. Like, you know what I mean? Like...
Don't get a stupid off with Slasher, because
it'll win. Like it has no shame, and I fully expect it to be a fucking stupid ending. I fully expect that, because to be honest, the previous 2 seasons have had stupid endings, and maybe this is the most stupid ending that we went through. We are going to get there.
Yeah,
we will get there, and when we get there, it's. I mean. At this stage now, I just want it over. And if that means I have to sit through the worst ending, then I will sit through that worst ending, Bo, because the promise of Cronenberg is nigh.
Yeah, I do like a couple of final comments from chat here. Alan saying that this is the best episode ever, you son of a bitch. Boomer, on the other hand, saying that he started with season 3 of Slasher.
Oh, right.
And he said that the rest felt like masterpieces in comparison.
I would imagine that's what I mean. Had we watched this one first, season 2 would have been better than this, and season 1 would have been better than that. So
yeah. So don't bring a knife to a dumb fight, he says. So Duncan,
yes.
What? Where can people find you between now and when next we talk in about 2 weeks to wrap this thing up?
Tons of stuff happening on Podcast Under the Stairs. So that's the main show that you should be checking out. By the time we've spoken, there'll be the Russian Roulette franchise retro on Children of the Corn. The first 2 episodes will be out for that. So I will have covered the first 6 entries in that series, plus technically the short movie that precedes. That's the 83 one that precedes Children of the Corn, which is available on YouTube, by the way. Disciples of the Crow is what it's called. So yeah, there's that. A 7-hour freaking episode, which is dropping essentially a day from now, from where we are. You will be able to also check out my ongoing reviews of Dexter New Blood, which is fucking great. Like, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me now at the halfway mark, and it's fucking great. So yeah, if you ever gave up on that show and you want to go back to this season. Like, go and start watching it. It is it has really, really, really done what it needs to do. It's just become a nice little insular, well-crafted, smarter update of like the early seasons that is very, very, very good. So only 5 of them left, so I'm doing that. I've done, if I don't think Derek's still in the chat, but I've just started the Gamera box set with Derek. So doing some kaijus with him. I'm doing the Lindsay Baker box set with Dave Parker. So that's going on. And then on the Teapots Collective, doing the Nasty. Myself and Bo will have to reconvene at some point to start bringing a close to David Fincher. So we've got 2 of those movies left, Gone Girl and Mank, to put a bow on that bow. And what else? I think that's it. I'm going to be very busy. I think before the end of this year, so by the 24th, I think I've still got in the region of about 19 episodes to drop. So it's a lot of content. But I will say, it did make me slightly worried to see that my Spotify wrap-up says that I have recorded almost 200 hours of podcasts Under the Stairs this year alone. And that's just podcasts Under the Stairs.
That seems small when I think about it.
Yeah, 200 hours is what I've done.
That's 4 hours a week, and that feels like what you do.
Yeah, and then, but that doesn't take into account the stuff that we do, all the stuff I do in the Teapots Collective, and all the stuff that I do with Metal Epidemic as well. So I've realized that if I did give up podcasting, I could probably with ease learn Japanese, a musical instrument, or magic.
Yeah, but learning.
Yeah.
Who needs that?
I'll have one day. But yeah, so there's tons of stuff. teapotscast.com is where you can find it all. Or Podcast Under the Stairs, wherever you listen to podcasts. Bo, what you got coming up?
Well, obviously, Duncan and Bo come correct. If you're watching this, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Not only have we been doing Slasher for the past 12 years, but we have an entire back catalog of us talking about TV shows and movies and all kinds of stuff. There is Pick 6 Movies with myself and the effervescent Chad Cooper, where we do 6 movies built around a theme each season. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned, Pottersville is dropping, if you're watching this live, within 48 hours, which is a terrible, terrible movie. And then we'll be doing Invasion USA, which is a terribly wonderful movie. Mm-hmm. And then everything else I do, you can find at legionpodcasts.com, most notably The Dark Parade, which is my podcast for all things horror, which features a main episode every single Wednesday, as well as bonus episodes almost every Friday, as well as the live stream Sinister Sundays, followed by the audio version of that, Morbid Mondays. So I'm slowly catching up to you in terms of just raw weekly output.
That's good. Feels good.
Yeah. It's actually been a tremendous amount of fun, and I've got some episodes actually sandbagged now, so I'm gonna kick back and enjoy the holidays and still get a bunch of stuff done. But that is for another time. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. The only thing left to do to wrap up this particular episode is to say to my good friend Duncan, say goodnight, Duncan.
To my good friend Duncan, say goodnight, Duncan.
That's wrong. We'll see you next time.